Hey YouTube, this is Sergio. I thought I would make a video introducing myself, a proper video, just describing who I am, why I'm making this YouTube channel. So let's get started. So I need my PowerPoint presentation, my story, my path to financial freedom. Just gonna describe a little bit on how it all started. So yep, that's me. I'm a 32-year-old Hispanic. I currently live in Laredo, Texas, border with Mexico. I've been investing in real estate, let's say for the past 5-6 years. I was born in Mexico, raised here in the United States, went to school here. Some of my passions, of course, real estate investing, which this channel will be mainly about. I also love helping others achieve financial independence, discussing their finances, trying to help them out, giving my 2 cents on how they can get out of the rat race. Another passion of mine since I was a teenager is drag racing. Usually imports, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder cars, turbo superchargers. Before I would invest a lot of money in cars. Right now, with a family, I'm trying to spend not to spend money on cars. Thinking about buying a new Corvette, the 2020. Still up in the air, nothing serious yet. Another passion of mine is spending time with my family, going on vacations, just doing a basic cookout with sisters and brothers, and just hanging out. My career choice. I graduated high school out of junior year. I've always liked school. I've always been very studious. Usually A honor roll if I tried. Sometimes I would get A B's. I would get bored and something wouldn't turn into homework. But I've always been on the tests. I've always scored top. I went to Texas A&M and a community college here in Laredo. I got my Associates of Arts, and then I went to the university and I got my Bachelor's of Science in interdisciplinary studies, which is basically the degree you need to become an elementary school teacher. The married life. I started my family at a very young age. I was 18 when I got together with my now wife. She got pregnant, or I would say we got pregnant. About a year later. So when I was 19, I had my first daughter. I'm 32 now, so she's already 13. She's a teenager already. I started life real young. My son right now is 10 years old, and my daughter is 13. So I've been learning together with them because I was basically still a child when I started my family. But so far, God has helped me, and everything has been good. I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, this is my first home. When I started, when I got married, of course, I was going to school. I was a part-time tutor, a writing tutor in the university. I was making $10 an hour, 19 hours a week. So I was making less than $200 a week. So of course, I lived with my parents when I started. Even when I had my daughter and even my son for 1 year, I was still living under my parents' roof. I thank them for that. The first mobile home, which is here, the one in the picture, it's an old beat up mobile home. It was gifted. My dad and my mom gifted me this mobile home, and I'm very thankful for it. The land that it was on, I believe they had given already about $10,000 on the land, And with two income tax, I still remember I would file my income tax, and when I got back my check, I would give my parents my check, the income tax check. I gave it to them for 2 years, which was a total of $10,000, and then I continued making the payments to the bank on the land. I believe it they bought it for about 30 some thousand. About, I think it was 32,000. The land, the mobile home, they gave it for free, but the land they bought it for 32. So I gave them the 10,000 down, and I continued paying the 24,000 that was left to the bank. And I believe my son was gonna be 1 year old in a month. So we moved in. We made a small cookout, a small party for my son, and we didn't have a fridge or a sofa or anything. We just had a few things that we had accumulated when we were living with our parents. So this is the humble beginning. When I was going to school, I was a teacher aide. I was making like $800 or $900 a month. Poor teacher aide, they don't make anything. They don't make no money. So in summer, of course, I was out of a job. My brother-in-law told me that they were hiring at a transportation company. Of course, we live in the border. We live in the top crossing border in the U.S. Here with Mexico and the U.S. So there's a big industry of transportation here. A lot of drivers and a lot of hiring. So he offered me a job there, making I believe it was $10.50 an hour. So I got the summer job. I started making, with some overtime, I started making decent money, and compared to what I was making back in the school. So by this time I had graduated already, but there was no openings for teachers. So I decided to quit my teacher aide job and stayed there working as a dispatcher. I was dispatching drivers. I was on the phone all the time. I started talking to drivers, knowing more people, and I liked it. I started climbing the ladder, made a few friends, and by this time I was making a bit more money, and the job was too far away from my mobile home where I was living. So we decided, we got some money together, about 8,000 down, and we bought our first house. Our second home, but the first house, since the other one was a mobile home. It was a small house. I just sold it about 2 months ago. This house was really good to us. It has a special place in my heart because it was basically where my kids grew up. You can see there my Grand Prix GTP supercharged. I still have this car. I really liked it, and my old wife's Ford Explorer, we got rid of it. Since we bought this house, we didn't know what to do with the mobile home. My parents have a few rentals, so they convinced me to rent the mobile home out instead of selling it. So that's what I did. We rented a mobile home for $650. I think the payment was $400, so we were making about $250 a month. So that was the first taste of passive income, of basically accidental, because I wasn't planning to make a business out of this. But those $250 every month did help, and it was rented for, I believe, for a year or two, and then I decided to sell it. Excuse me. But in the meantime, I continued working. My wife was also working at the bank. We were both working. We were bringing in money. I mean, we weren't making ridiculous amount of money, but we were making decent money, and we were paying our house. The rental was getting paid with the rental income. And we got the taste of it, and everything went well. A good friend of mine, one of my closest friends, he changed. He was working with me at the first dispatching job, and he got hired. He was promoted in another company, and he offered me a job. So I I moved with him after 2 years being with TSI. I moved to Point Dedicated Services. Uh, as you can see there, I was making. I started making 43. I was there for I think about 5 years. I climbed the ladder. At the end, I was making close to 70,000 a year. And for those 5 years that I was working there, I was living below my means, which is very important, guys. Uh, it's very easy to get a raise and to raise your standard of living, but we didn't do that. Every raise we got, I was still living the same basic life, and we were investing automatically. Automatically, I would pay myself, and I would invest. What I would do basically, I would save maybe $5,000, $10,000, and then I would go out and buy a house. Maybe somebody was owner financing a house. This example in the picture, it was two houses that I bought on one lot, two separate single family homes. The front one, as you can see, was burned down partially. The kitchen was burned down. The rest of the house was okay, but the fume had damaged all the drywall, and all the water from the firefighters had damaged all the drywall. So we had to do the new electrical, new drywall. So this was a big project. It was our first big project. As you can see, my wife there helping us out. Some random guy helping us clean. But this house, as you can see here in the picture, we started renovating it. I was doing all this while still working my 9 to 5. I was doing it more like a hobby, not really. No, I didn't really see it as a business. It was more like a hobby. I enjoyed doing it. I liked it. I wouldn't mind going every day, helping out, cleaning, going to Home Depot every day, buying stuff, materials. I wouldn't mind doing. I didn't mind, and I don't mind up to this day. As they say, if you get a job that you love or you really like, you don't work a day in your life, and it's true, because it doesn't feel like if you're working. So after a few flips of properties and a few buy and holds, some properties I would sell, some properties I would just rent them out. I was able to get enough money to give a big portion of down payment in a convenience store that I bought. This is a really dark picture. It was at night. We named it In and Out Groceries, and this Sigue is money transfers to. Since we live in the border, there's a lot of Hispanics here. A lot of people from Honduras and Mexico and El Salvador. So all these people send money to their relatives. So we have a service called Sigue, and they can send them money using that service. They just charge a $5 fee, and they can transfer them money every week. So this store we bought it back in 2017. My wife had to quit her job. She was working in an office in the oil fields. She had to quit her job so she could run the store. Basically, she would run it during the day. I would work my 9 to 5, and then after 5, I would go in at 6 and then close. We did that for maybe 2 or 3 months. It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot. Even for those short months, I wanted to give up already. I felt that it was too much. By that time, I believe I was already a terminal manager. So I had climbed to the top position here in Laredo. I was in charge of basically the whole operation and distribution. I was in charge of about 15 local drivers, about between 12 and 15, because sometimes we would get rid of drivers. Between 12 and 15 local drivers, and about 50 or 60 over the road drivers. And On the side, I had the rentals and some houses that we were flipping, and then we were running the store. The convenience store, it was new. It was new to us. We have never ran a convenience store, a grocery store. Uh, I just saw the ad on Craigslist. Hey, selling convenience store, make money from day one. And I called the guy. He asked me if I had money. I didn't have money, but I had some properties, and we worked out a deal. I am really happy that God blessed me with this convenience store because it basically we doubled the sales from the previous owner. We doubled the sales, and this store replaced my income and my wife's income. Basically, our jobs. We are still operating it. It's been 2 years already. We have 4 employees. They do basically the day-to-day operation. I have a manager and several cashiers and a stocker, and I couldn't be happier. We do work in the store, maybe I would say maybe 10, 15 hours a week, making sure that everything's running the way we want. But it's a great store, and it nets us about 100,000 a year after employees and expenses and mortgage and everything. And we couldn't be happier. I mean, it's not something to become rich, but it's enough income that if you are smart and invested, you can become a millionaire one day. So right now, the current lifestyle, I say that I'm semi-retired life. That I have a semi-retired life. One, because I don't have a day job. I don't have a boss. My boss basically are the customers in my store and my and the tenants in my rentals. Uh, some days I don't feel like waking up. I don't wake up early. Some days I wake up early because I wanna feel productive. I wake up really early. Some days I'm tired and I just stay home all day. So there's a lot of perks. I mean, it's not for everyone. Sometimes we do have to work more than 40 hours, running around. Like I said, going to Home Depot, talking to contractors, going to a store if there's a problem. But I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. And I just started my YouTube channel. Uh, my current portfolio, and I don't say this to brag, or maybe it's not even enough to brag to anyone. I know a lot of people that have 10 times more, some people that have 10 times less. But I want to say this because I want people that have less to know that it is possible, even with a family. Some people say, "Oh, with kids, you're not gonna do anything." Like I said, I started my married life very young. I started a family very young, and it was possible. Also, a lot of people say that minorities can't do it. Everything's possible if you try. Everything's possible. I've done this without credit, without using my credit, because at the beginning I didn't have enough credit, and I started buying owner finance houses. By the time my credit was good, I had uh, too many houses in my name, so the debt to income ratios aren't perfect, aren't what the bank wants, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So my current portfolio is, of course, my homestead, which is not the house on the one that I showed. I bought another house 2 years ago, and I own a convenience store, and also there's a food stand in the front of the property that I rent out. I run it in the mornings. I have a lady that cooks, and then I have a tenant on at the nights. I own 5 single family rentals throughout the city. I have a sixplex rental apartment complex in a nearby city, which is like about 15 minutes away. And then I also own 3 single family houses that I'm currently selling under finance. So like I said, some of the houses I flip, Three of them right now, I'm selling them, so I have notes, and the people are paying me. And if, of course, if they don't pay, I mean, they lose the house, and I get it back. But I mean, that's not my business. I mean, I want them to pay me. I want them to continue buying houses, and uh, let's go on. My short-term goals. As you can see, I mean, I just opened this channel. My short-term goal for this YouTube channel would be to grow it to at least 10,000 subscribers. I would say within a year. Pay off my personal debt using the snowball method. I'll make another video on my personal debt. I would like to lower my debt to income ratio to qualify for a mortgage and continue purchasing property. So I am basically tired of paying high interest rate since I buy owner finance. I've been paying 10, 11, 12%, 9% interest. I'm gonna try to leverage my portfolio with the bank and see if I can get qualified maybe with a 4 or 5% interest rate. But in order to do that, I have to lower my debt to income ratio. So it's a working process. I just have to get the formula correctly, the formula that they want. Another short-term goal, which should be within a year, if I continue investing the way I am, is increase my net worth to $1 million. I wanna hit the 1 million mark. I'm currently worth about 650, so I'm 350,000 away. It should be accomplishable. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys informed. Also, one of my other short-term goals is increase my convenience store sales from 600K to 1 million per year. The 1 million should net me about 200K a year. So it's a good payday for, like I said, working 10-15 hours a week. My plan to accomplish this is like I mentioned, I acquired the taco stands, the food stand, and we hired a lady with a great she cooks great, so with a great taste in cooking. So we're hoping that instead of renting it, because I had two tenants, 650 in the morning, 650 at night per month. So I'm hoping that instead of getting the 650 per month, I'm hoping I can get maybe a couple of thousand a month extra. And I mean, every little helps. More people to the food stand, more people will come to the store, and vice versa. My long-term goals, and we're almost wrapping up, guys. I'm sorry, it's already 23 minutes in. My long-term goals is grow my YouTube channel to, I don't know why I just put 250,000 subscribers. I mean, the more the merrier, but I would be happy with that number. Pay off all my real estate debt using the snowball method. Like I said, I'm trying to get rid of all the debt that I have, so I can avoid paying the high interest. Most of my terms should be paid off in 6 to 8 years. I don't have any 30-year mortgages. I only have 2 15 years, and the rest are between 6 and 8 years, between 5 and 8 years. Grow my cash flow to 50,000 per month, or my net worth to 10 million. It's a long shot, but it's easy, but it's gonna take time. But I mean, if you have a formula, if you follow it, you stick to it, it's accomplishable. And in the future, I would like to rent out the convenience store business to somebody else, so I can free up some time. Those 10-15 hours a week, I would like to use it to spend time with my family and be 100% passive income. Well, guys, thanks a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you like the video, if you can give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna try to post at least a video a week. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys. Bye.